Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hey, bud, are the two words my dad learned to me every morning as he would make his way to the kitchen in a tired trudge and begin making me breakfast. Every Sunday morning was spent with my dad enjoying football in the living room. This was our time. My dad and I would talk about everything under the sun. It was usually music, sports, or even discussing what we would do in made-up worlds and scenarios. I'll always treasure moments like these. During the week, my dad would work and usually came home from the office past my bedtime. After my mom would tuck me in, I would usually stay in bed for up to an hour just laying there. I was usually scared of ghosts and monsters coming for me in my sleep. But when I would hear that front door fly open and the muffled voices of my mom and dad talking, I was able to relax. I knew my dad was home and everything was going to be okay. On February 12th, 2022, I was awoken by an agonizing scream. At first, I didn't know what it was, so I swiftly got out of bed and looked out the window. I saw nothing. The night was as peaceful as when I had left it hours prior to this, when I had gone to sleep. Thinking that the scream was in my head, I laid back down into my bed. The second scream was louder, and this time I knew whatever I thought I was imagining was real and was happening in my living room. I crept out of my room and expected a home intruder or a murderer. All the thoughts which plague the head of a newly 14-year-old boy when he hears noises at night. When I turned the corner to face my living room, I was met with a more shocking sight than I could have imagined. My dad was laying on the ground and my mom was hunched over him screaming. I quickly rushed over and kneeled next to my mom, who at this time was shaking and dialing 911. I looked down at my dad. It was as if he had fallen asleep on the ground. Maybe sleepwalking, I thought in my head. My mom screamed at the operator for instructions, and the operator told her to begin performing CPR. As I began CPR, I remember thinking to myself, what the hell is happening? My eyesight was quickly flushed with tears as I pumped up and down, up and down, up and down. At this moment, the whole world seemed to stop, and the chaotic screams behind me were muffled out. I felt like the only person who was truly with me in that moment was my dad. His faint smile had a strong sense of reassurance, as if he was telling me, "Bud, it's gonna be okay." For the first time that night, the thought of my dad passing crossed my mind. I looked down on him at that moment and told him that I loved him so much and that it was gonna be okay. The sound of my front door swinging open ripped me out of my daze. The sound of sirens and yelling attacked my ears as firefighters and paramedics rushed over to my dad. I remember taking one last look at my dad as I backed up and let the EMTs begin. Now what happened after this is a blur. I remember my family members coming into my house and a firefighter somberly talking to my mom. What had started out as a calm and peaceful Friday night had turned to my living hell. I vividly remember the unbearable weight of fear I felt for my future. My dad was my best friend, and without him, I didn't know how I would survive, much less move forward. That day changed everything, and for a little, I was in a terrible place. My fear of the unknown took over. It was in those dark moments I thought of my dad and what he would have wanted me to do. I promised myself that I wouldn't let this tragedy knock me down more than it already had. My mother had to sort a lot of things out both mentally and physically with my dad gone. Her and I agreed that we would keep moving and crying while we ran forward. In the next few months, we moved away to a very different place and I switched schools, leaving all of my elementary and middle school friends behind. While this was hard, a new start was necessary for me in my grieving journey. Starting fresh in a new place without my dad was scary, but I always made sure to think of him and what he would have wanted me to do. This experience reminded me of the importance of going. I believe that if you keep going in life, you will succeed. No matter what, keep going. This I believe,